What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Limitless Business Owners Podcast. My name is Andrew Giorgi, and I'm here with my co-host of the podcast, Dan Fisher. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, first of all, we want to welcome you. Okay, we're super excited to be on this journey, this business owner journey with you, and help you along the way. Okay, our whole goal with this podcast and really our passion in life is to bring the everyday business owner content and stories they can relate to, and also fresh new perspectives, fresh new mindsets, new thoughts, new ideas, strategies, tactics to help you grow your business. Okay, if you take one thing out of each episode and start implementing it into your life and business today, we promise you're going to start seeing massive growth. Let's hop into the show. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Limitless Business Owners. We are on week 3, part 3 of our 3-part mini-series of the Untold Principles of Marketing Success. Okay, if you haven't listened to the first 2, go back, listen to the first 2. These all coincide with each other and work off of each other. Okay, Dan, it's awesome having you here. I'm always pumped to talk to you every single week.
Yeah, same here, man. You're getting real busy over there. You got a ton of work going on, so it's a good opportunity to get to catch up and give everyone some knowledge value here.
Yeah. And this week we are going to be talking about Principle 3, where you have to have a baseline plan. Okay. Principle 3 is having a baseline plan. Okay. And when we start looking at, when you start breaking down kind of marketing success, like what does that mean? What is marketing's role? What is marketing advertising's role? We would say that's to bring in, number one, new customers, clients, right? Or reactivating leads, old leads, right? You need a plan kind of for both. And we've used Dan's Business Royal as an example for this because they do this extremely well. Always bringing in new leads. And recently, kind of mastering the reactivation portion, which has really brought in a huge chunk of revenue for you guys. It's kind of brought up a lot of this segment, this series was Dan's work. Dan, you probably didn't know that, but I'm always analyzing. I'm always looking, and I'm like, we got to talk about this stuff.
Hey, I can appreciate it. I mean, there's a ton of things that come out of just one day of work with us, and I mean, it's an interesting industry. I mean, we literally provide, leads and data information to people. So not a lot of people get to see that kind of fine-tuned and as zoomed in as we do.
Yeah. I mean, and, really when you look at, the great businesses, really, I think every business owner wants that of course, that's kind of, cliche, like you want a great business, right? But I think what people really want is not just a great business where they want influx, right? They want people coming in. They want, we call it fresh blood, right? They want new customers and clients because that typically signifies growth. Okay. Now, I'm not saying prioritize new customers, clients over current customers and clients. I think that's one thing people get wrong quite a bit, and that actually waters down your ability to get fresh blood, right?
Yep.
So in this principle, having a baseline plan is super important. It's what great businesses do. They're able to scope out. They're able to, and especially as the CEO, the owner, whoever else, you're able to take that 30,000 foot view and see the pieces. You guys are listening. You can't see my shirt, but my shirt says
"Run the play."
Run the play, right? So have a plan. Be the coach. Look at it from a 30,000 foot view and be able to say, okay, this is what happens step by step to bring in new customers and clients. Right. And Dan, you guys have that, you guys have a phenomenal business. You could probably say, hey, this is exactly what we need to do to get new leads and get fresh revenue and reactivate. You probably have you might not have it written down, but in your head, you're like, this is what we have to do.
Yeah. I mean, we've been bit before by not having, a process in place. And what I actually had to do is kind of do it in reverse before. So if we had the opportunity to go through and write it out, it definitely would have been a better chance for us to really standardize that process. A lot of it came from maybe us not wanting to do the admin work. So we got caught up into that. But really, I saw it work in the last 2 years where if you're standardizing something and if you're making something a process, have that plan and standardize it out. So then you're not playing the client's game. The clients are playing your game and you're making a product out of it.
That's so good. You're not playing the client's game. Clients are playing your game. And some people say, well, the customer's always right. That means they're in charge. No. Like, you have to run the play. You have to have a plan, right? A great football coach doesn't go into a game not understanding what they might have to do to defeat the opponent. I hate to say it like that. You kind of have to look at your client. Like, how do we, obviously you're not defeating them, but how do we win? We got to have a plan. And there's a bunch of plans out there. If you're the beginning business owner, you're fighting like hell to find that plan and create a plan. Right. And the reality is if you're looking for something new that's never been discovered, it's not going to exist. Your plan is probably going to be something that's been tried and true and proven over the years. Right. So if you're looking to discover something, you're never going to create a plan. What I would start doing is analyzing how other people are doing it and then start owning that process. Right. I'm not going to say copy. Right. I'm going to say start owning that process. Okay. That's what, if you're looking to create something, you don't really need to create it. You just need to, look around and start looking at other people, other businesses and say, how are they doing it? Okay. Yep. I can't tell you how many times I've subscribed to a business or I've filled out a form or something else just to see their process, just to see what emails
buy someone else's product.
Yes. In the reality, for the beginning business owner is like, you're probably capital strapped, like you don't have a lot of resources, it's a time crunch. That's why the beginning is like a pressure cooker. You're trying to figure it out. And there's this huge amount of pressure on you because you're fighting time and you're fighting dollars. And typically discovering and finding that plan is the hardest part. Right. And Dan and I do some work for Dan's business. It's really kind of how we met and created not just a business partnership, but a friendship. I can't wait to go out to Colorado and
absolutely
spend some time with Dan and his wife. I'll bring Jordan and my kiddo up there and it'll be a good time, but
sunny days ahead.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like when you don't have a plan, right? So there's one business in general that always is basically going to have problems. And that's going to be like the boutique style business. That's going to be the almost solopreneur, maybe small team. And what they're doing is they're customizing every approach depending on which customer comes in. That's a really hard thing to maintain, almost impossible to scale up. And you can live there. Like if that's something that your lifestyles you like, and this you like the it's a little bit smaller, you're fine, but you can't scale it. If you can make a process of it, and we ran into this just 2 months ago, we were giving everyone appointments, and whenever you set appointments for people, everyone has their own little process inside appointment reminders. Maybe some people don't have an appointment reminder at all. Maybe some people just call them a million times. So what happened where we were getting the fallback for that, and it was because we didn't have a good plan for that whole appointment process. So you know what we did? We hacked it off. We took that exact part of the process of appointment setting, took it out, and we were like, hey, we actually have a really solid process for qualifying the leads and getting them, finding out their information and making sure that they're a very good lead for these guys. Let's let them take their process and hand it over, so we're not taking responsibility of it.
So good. And there's so many things inside of that, Dan, because you guys are actually doing less. Essentially, right? When you start,
we were doing way too much,
and so you trimmed off the fat, and now and you're still charging the same, and it's not less work, but it's still just as much. It's still just as much value. Actually, it's more valuable if you think about it, because now you don't have this problem that's created. So you actually created more value by doing that. Right. Yep. Things aren't priced based off of your time. Things are priced based off of the value that you're delivering. And this is a different side that I think most people think more equals more valuable. If I do more, it's more valuable. right? But you might be creating more problems for your client. And what Dan just did is he actually took a problem away from his client, which creates more value. So I didn't know that before this. So that's...
Oh, really?
No, I didn't know that. So that's phenomenal. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, we I mean, look at McDonald's, right? You can go in Pittsburgh and have the same exact burger as you can in San Diego. You know, Big Mac, same exact ingredients, made by different people, different location, completely different cultures.
Yeah.
And it's the same product. They have a plan.
Yeah.
It's scalable, and it can obviously go worldwide, you know.
Well, have you seen
it's so simple.
Have you seen The Founder, the movie?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So like that's right there. They had a plan, like even before they blew up, they obviously I don't remember their names, but the two guys that owned it.
Ray Kroc.
Well, before Ray Kroc screwed them.
Oh yeah.
Those guys had a process already, and Ray Kroc essentially took their process and franchised it.
Sold it. Yep.
No discredit to Ray Kroc, but that's what you have to, you know, I hate saying this one, like that's what you have to do sometimes. I mean, don't do it in that way, you know, but look at someone else's process and say, hey, how do I ask them, hey, I'm new. If you're beginner, I'm new. Is there any way that I can, most business owners that are high level, they'll be like, absolutely. Let's schedule a call. Right. You know, here's my calendar link. So it's really, really important that you're not bashful with it, you know, but let's talk about the seasoned vet. These people already have a plan. And if you don't know the plan, but you're growing, you have a plan, right? Like, you know what works. I would challenge you to scope out a little bit and try to look at the steps of that, right? I'm a very analytical, I have a science background. So, you know, if you're a seasoned vet, you have a plan, and now your job is to improve the plan. So, okay, how do we improve the plan as a seasoned vet? You have to understand the plan, which means you have to scope out, and actually I would write it down step by step of what happens. Doesn't mean you have to distribute that to your team, but your job as the coach is to optimize, make that the most optimal plan. And you might be able to gain 20% efficiency out of that plan by just writing it down and then understanding your KPIs in the plan. I'm a big data guy, you know, so it's like, how do we look at this? How do we improve it? Okay, well, right now we're closing 1 out of 12 calls. How do we close 1 out of 8 calls? But you don't know to improve that if you don't put numbers to it. Okay. So very, very important that you understand the plan. And now improve the plan, right? So there's 2 ways to improve. And I think we talked about this a little bit last time, but you can vertically improve the plan, which means you are going to get more people through, which is efficiency, productivity, things like that, and maybe taking steps out that you might not need, so on and so forth. But sometimes you need to grow your plan horizontally, which means, and we'll use Dan's business here for an example, which means you're going to add different ways to bring more people in, which you're kind of going back to the discovery phase of, okay, what can we add in here? What other ways can we bring people in? So Dan, let's talk about Royal for a second. So primarily right now, we've been running Facebook ads. Right. And we know that's tried and true. It works. It's, you know, so now it's like, okay, can we venture out and we don't stop the plan to try something new. We keep the plan going because we know that's what's our revenue feeder right now, but maybe we try something new alongside of it. So maybe we go to Google ads while we're running Facebook ads. Now you might say, hey, it's going to take more capital. Yeah, but we're in a capital power spot. You know, if you're running your business right, you should be keeping the plan that's going, that's feeding you, right? Then you're reinvesting that money to create another stream. And then when you get that stream mastered, then you create another one. Constantly reinvesting to create. So if you're the seasoned vet, that's what you want to do. And I hope it's okay if I used your business as an example.
Yeah, no, not a problem at all. And I would say, if you have the opportunity, you know, share it with your team. Look, your team's not going to make the ultimate decision, but what's really cool is if you provide a place, like create a random form that just allows someone to have anonymous feedback on it. Guess what? You're going to get some really cool ideas that some may be really far-fetched. Some may be like a good thing to put on the goal list in the future, but you're going to get some cool feedback from from your team that you might not have done if you would have just, brought it up in the meeting and said, hey, does anyone have any feedback on this? Because, it's just kind of putting people on the spot. But yeah, asking for that anonymous feedback, and then it comes back. You might get some really good ideas. And then ultimately you're the decision maker. So you can go and run with whatever you see. So you don't have to be intimidated of like, are the monkeys running the circus kind of thing.
Well, I mean, and that's part of being the coach of it, right? As a coach, and I coached baseball for several years, high end competitive high school baseball. And, I could go into a game, and my job is to best prepare my team to win, right? That's my job. Now, with that being said, I kind of have to understand, who are we playing to? We had the ways that we did certain things, just the culture of our team, right? And that's your business, right? The culture of your team is your business. But there are some times when you talk to your players, your employees, and you want the feedback, because as the coach, as the owner, as the CEO, you are not all knowing, right? There is some things in your business that your employees are more proximate to that they actually know better. And I see it far too often that business owners, especially the seasoned vets, they get stuck in this way where they are they're it. Nothing goes without, it's my ideas. And even worse, sometimes they take their employees' ideas, make it their own idea, and say, hey, look, I had this idea. You'll lose employees that way quicker than anything else. But you want to, like Dan saying, you want to receive that feedback, create a culture of feedback. I think we had a podcast on that at some point. Culture of feedback. No, it was a live training. It was a live training. Yeah. So, the podcast didn't get it, but it was a live training in the group, which we're going through some restructuring of that. Really cool stuff happening with that. But you want the feedback because they're more proximate to maybe some problems that they might experience in the process, where you might be able to get a solution for it, make that part of the plan, and then now you see efficiency boost. Right. So
what happens sometimes when you have a C-level, CEO, COO, owner, is sometimes there could be some distance from the person that's on the ground to where you are. Yeah. And what you have to really consider is who are and what are your filters. And that means that, okay, if you have a VP team of 7 people that are in different divisions, and you're getting information from them, and you're seeing like no problems whatsoever are coming from them, you have to understand that they're trying to protect themselves too. So you actually might need to take a couple steps down, or find a way where they can actually give you feedback and you can see, because if you're getting it from those filters and you're still having problems in those divisions, there's probably something that you can't really see at that level.
Well, and it's typical when you start getting a team, right? That takes time. Like, so you move from like the solopreneur where you're doing everything. You hire your first teammate. You're still pretty proximate, right? But then you hire 2, 3, 4, 5, right? A year and a half goes by, and your job duties change, which they should. If you're growing as the owner, your job duties should change, right? If you've been selling, eventually your goal should be to not selling, right?
Right.
You should hire people for that. But you might think, well, 2 years ago, this is how I did it and it worked. So I know what I'm doing, but times change sometimes. Prospects change. The message changes. The strategies to get them change. So you cannot attack business as this concrete, definite thing where what I did 3 years ago, I know this business like the back of my hand more than my employees. You might understand some things that they don't understand because they're seeing it only from one perspective, right? And there's times when they might say something, hey, we have to do it this way because of X, Y, and Z, because, software limitations or admin limitations that they're not thinking about, which is okay. You're educating them. Now they're understanding your business better, right?
Yes.
But there are also some things within the plan, which there's also micro processes within the plan that they actually probably know and are more in tune with than you are right now.
Yeah, and where a lot of the mainly visionary people struggle with is putting it on paper, or getting a way to actually do it. There are those integrators in the world that will put that on paper and help you out. But there's also a couple resources that I've used. The book Traction is, it goes through an entire business process from all your goals and where you want it to be from, 1, 3, 5, 10 years out. They've got a whole training on it too, but it's just, find the resource that works for you, or find someone that can fill the holes that you don't necessarily do. Maybe that's admin work. Maybe it's the visionary and the dreamer. And so you figure out where you need some personnel.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So having a plan, I said this last week, like the other two principles are so important, which first principle we covered is always add to your list, always be growing your list. Okay. You always got to be growing your list. Number 2 is give, then ask. And 3 is have a plan, have a baseline plan for yourself and for your business. Understand that plan. If you're a seasoned vet, if you're newbie at it, I shouldn't say create the plan, find the plan. Right. And of course, every plan has an investment, right? So if you're in the beginning stages, business ownership takes a huge investment, time and dollars. So if you're looking to find it on the first try, you ain't going to get it. Yep. Right. You know
what they say about business investments though?
What's that?
It's the biggest return you can ever get outside of any investment.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you think about the freedom,
freedom. Money. They say if you have $10,000 and you have the choice to put in a stock or your business, they say put in your business every time.
Yep. And you think about that, the beginner or even the seasoned vet, you might have found a way pretty quickly. And some people, they find the needle in the haystack. They find it right off the bat. They're good. You'll know it when you found the plan, but if you're trying to add on to the plan, you might, I'm going to use, maybe like an online business, maybe like a coach or something like that, consultant, right? You might try doing webinars. Webinars don't work. You might try free lead mag. You might try Facebook group. Boom. Third try, it worked, right? But you invested probably already $10,000 and 1,000 hours of your time already, so you invested 100 grand right there, but there's a price to pay. And it's just part of playing the game. It's like playing baseball. You got to have a bat, you got to have a glove, right? If you don't, you're not going to play, it takes a uniform. It takes training, it's a mindset that a lot of business owners get in. They're like, and I don't think they think it, but they feel it where they're like, it's easier to stay where we're at right now than now. Cause they get comfortable. They put a bunch of work in and they don't want to risk that anymore. So what they do is they default to playing safe and they stop the risk, and that stops them from investing more. Okay. So you know what, maybe you went through a season of, you didn't have to work 12-hour days. Well, maybe to grow it to the next level, maybe for a season, you have to work 12-hour days. Right. Yep. Maybe for this season, you got to take a little bit less, you don't go out to eat as much, and so they're sacrificing that, but on the other side of the sacrifice, there is payoff. There is reward, so if you're in the spot where you feel like your business is plateaued, if you're blaming circumstances around you, it's time to stop that. It's time to start saying, okay, maybe I've gotten too comfortable because I don't want to risk where I've already climbed, but you've already climbed a quarter of Mount Everest. You still have 3/4 to go. So are you just going to camp out at 1/4 of the way up and say, we're good right here. I'm not going to reach the top. Or are you going to say, okay, we got to dig deep here and we got to go to the next level. Let's get halfway up. Okay. What do we got to do? Well, we got to walk a little bit further. We got to start walking, right? At a faster pace. It's going to hurt. My legs are going to hurt.
Got to start,
so you just gotta do it, start working on the next plan. That's one thing, not that Dan was like that, because Dan is not like that, but I'm just using this as an example. He actually brought the idea of wanting to do Google ads up for Royal, and I'm like, let's do it, and, because Dan's not one of those people. It's like, okay, we're good with Facebook. Hey, we're good right here, guys. We're good. He's like, okay, how do we go to the next level? Okay, well, if we're getting this much from Facebook, maybe we can get even more from Google. And then both of those together, we can do double what we're doing right now. Yeah. That's the right way to think right there.
And that's a strength and it's a weakness at if you don't have the plan, right? What I was going to say is it's tricky sometimes because you can actually get pretty far without having a plan. You can actually get to a point where you are making money. You can get to a point where you've pivoted a couple times. But what you're going to find is you're going to find that there's less focus and you're going to feel really spread out thin. So when that hits you and you're in this weird depression and you're like, I'm not getting any wins and I feel like I'm just, you just can't put your finger on it. Most likely it's because the focus isn't there and you have to almost retract, cut off some projects and make sure that you have 3 or less. I don't know. That might even be a lot. So that's one where I got kind of, in the first couple of years is just, I got held up there. It's just going in every direction, accepting every pivot I could. And then I didn't realize when we were being successful and I needed to stop. So then we need to restructure, go for the plan at that point.
It's a constant recommittal. It really is, but awesome, Dan. Well, it's been real. We'll leave them with that this week. Remember the new schedule every Tuesday, every Friday. If we have a guest on the show, which we are collecting guests right now, we're vetting them. We'll have a stretch of guests. When we have guest weeks, it's only going to be Friday. So if it's just Dan and I say just, there's so much value in what we just say.
Right.
I'm not saying that in a cocky way. We've just been around a lot of business owners. We've owned businesses. We've been in the thick of things, right? There's things that we've learned. There's a lot of things that we have to learn, which I think is valuable in itself. We're in this with you guys.
Yes.
And we're going to be extracting the lessons from everything that we're learners. We're like constantly taking in information of what's going to take us further, which will help take you further too. So every Tuesday, Friday, when it's just Dan, every Friday, if it's just a guest that week. Okay. Awesome, Dan. It's been real, man.
Same here.
Hey, if you haven't rated or reviewed the show yet, please take 2 to 3 minutes to do so right now on whatever platform you listen on. It really helps the show rank better when people are searching for new podcasts to listen to. You can also follow us on Instagram and Facebook where we post daily clips from the episode. And then we're just going to ask you to share those clips, right? You never know who of your friends are going to see that clip and then they're going to start listening to the episode and then their life changes because they hear something that really helps them overcome a challenge that they're experiencing in their business. It's really going to help them create breakthrough in their business and become limitless. Also, one last thing. Right now, we are offering a free 7-day trial into our Inner Circle group, Limitless Business Owners Inner Circle. And inside this elite group, you get to learn how you can experience immense, consistent growth inside your business, where you learn the strategies and tactics to grow your business, right? Surround yourself with like-minded people, other business owners that are experiencing what you're experiencing, that are going through it right now, that you can build key relationships with and learn from. And also some people ahead of you that can also teach you something that's going to help you overcome something in your business right now. And then last thing, you can leverage the strategies and tactics it takes to build your dreams and fulfill your purpose. Talk soon.